AfterBuzzers and iZombie fans, we are so beyond excited to talk about this episode. We've got musicals, small little crossovers, and we have a very special guest in the studio, Daniel Bonjour, and we can't wait to ask him about all things #LiveOn. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We just all did a head nod.
Right. I always get confused by the beats because I never know when we're coming into it. So I'm like,
I always want to say I don't even know what it is, but I'm already dead in that part, and then that's like not even it. But hey guys, welcome back to another after show of iZombie. We are so excited to be here because it is Wednesday and we're talking iZombie, but also because we have the very amazing Daniel Bonjour in the studio. What's going on?
Thank you. Nothing much, just joining you guys. I saw the tweet and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This honestly is going to make this even better, and I'm sure all the fans are going to be so excited. We do have a live chat going. If you guys are listening on the podcast, if we ever reference a name or talk about the live chat, it's because we've got some fans chatting with us and asking questions along the way.
Cool.
Before we get into it, let's introduce our lovely panel. We've got Shawnteairra. How's it going?
It's going great. How are you?
I'm great. It's a lovely Wednesday. Drew Jones.
what's up, girl?
And Nakia.
Hey girl, hey.
I have a problem, a complex where I always call Nakia Kiki Boom Boom because it's her Instagram, and I feel like that's the world we live in
my
now.
second
You call
name.
people
Totally
Kiki
true.
Boom
Yeah,
No
Boom.
one calls me Nakia. Everyone calls me Kiki Boom Boom,
And
so it's totally fine.
I almost trip over my tongue. I'm like, Kiki, no, Kiki Nakia, Nakia Monet.
It's your new government name.
Hey guys, Ally Nasta here, and we're ready to just ask Daniel some hard-hitting questions. Just kidding.
Da, da, da.
They won't be that hard-hitting. First of all, we got to talk about, you're from South Africa originally.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm from all over, man. I was born in South Africa. I lived there for a while, then moved to Switzerland for a few years, then back to South Africa, and then Seattle, then went to school in Boston, and then came out to LA.
Boston.
Yeah.
I grew up in Boston.
Oh, you did? Yeah.
Town.
Yeah. I love Boston. So it's just all over. And I started acting in South Africa when I was a kid, but I was doing like American stuff, and so I started developing an American accent really early. And then when I first came to LA, the South African accent was still there, but then all these auditions and stuff, it's all they wanted me to do. And so I was like, let me just stay with the American. And then ironically, last year I do a show where I'm a South African. So yeah.
Because I feel like I don't hear much of an accent at all.
Yeah. It's like it comes out when you talk to your parents or friends from like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It really, really, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I studied abroad, and I had English friends, and my mom's like, did I send you to Australia or England? Because I came back kind of talking like them. But it's true, when you're around people, you kind of get the influx of what they say for so long.
Totally.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But obviously this episode was so heartwarming, and it ended with a little touch of the hand
Yes.
for Live and Live On.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about how you got the role on iZombie.
I mean, other than the typical audition and go for a role, no, it was. I had auditioned for it, and it was a fun role. Like, I'm not the comedy guy as much, and so when the role came up, there's like this plays against it a bit. He's a little more, tough, and so that was fun to me. And then read for it, and then I got an email from Jen Gwartz, who knows Rob Thomas, and she was like, hey. They emailed asking about you and seeing how you were, and she was a producer on Frequency, and so there's all this it's like people talk, and she it was that, and she was like they're really good people, and so I was excited, and I'd worked with some of the other people through Frequency, and then jumped on the show, and I was like I'd heard so many good things just about what it's like to work with them, and I was hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so was it hard kind of jumping into a cast that's really formed this really big bond?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a hard thing, but they honestly are so warm and welcoming. I mean, it's that's a lot of shows you step in and you feel like, the substitute teacher or something where you just don't have the bond of everybody else, and they were very adamant about making me feel part of it. And like, I think it was my first day. It was my birthday, and I didn't tell anybody because I was like, I don't know anybody. What am I supposed to do? And Rose found out, and she was like, what am I hearing? This is your birthday. And she just got everybody together to sing. And so, like, that's just the kind kind of people they are. You know?
So they're super welcoming.
So welcoming.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because you know all the different characters that Liv portrays. How is it working on stage? I feel like I would laugh the entire time.
Yeah.
She gets into character.
Dude, it is, and it's so funny. Certain moments, just you can't not laugh. Like other times, you're like, oh, you know, she's acting, she's doing her thing, and then every once in a while, she'll do something, and you're like, I just can't get it out of my head. And so there's plenty of times where you're just cracking up, and she just leans into it. Like she has so much fun with it, and like that's the best thing about the show is that like I think all the actors and everybody on is aware of the type of humor, and so there's not this like serious tone. So when you do laugh on set, it's not like everybody's slapping your wrist to get back to work. They're enjoying it. They're like, this is why we make the show, is because we have fun doing it.
Right.
We have somebody in the chat. Ivan just wanted me to tell you that he misses you on Frequency and he missed Frequency. But question for you, because you were on The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
So that's like one zombie show to
Yeah.
this zombie show.
Yeah.
What are some of the differences, and how do your characters compare? Like, I don't want to say what do you like better, because of course you love them both. But they're both different zombie shows, and I know a lot of times the fans will try to compare this one to The Walking Dead and things like that.
I mean, they're so different in the sense that like I think The Walking Dead is, you know, it's the tone of what would you do, what hero would you become if there was an apocalypse. Zombies are kind of, you know, they're not the main point of it. It's more about these people and how they develop, and then that's the world they live in. And iZombie is just like the total opposite. What can we do with the zombie genre to make it such a fun experience? But as far as the characters go, like I was Aiden, I was a dick, man. I was a dick on The Walking Dead. You know, I was like this, like I say it. I say I'm a douchebag, you know, and so just totally different. I think Leon's a lot more chill.
Yeah.
We're here for Leon.
Yeah.
We're here for him.
We are definitely here for Levi. Like, as soon as we saw him in the locker room scene last episode, we shipped it. We were like, there is something happening.
Right.
Do you know I didn't know the term ship name until I came to iZombie?
What?
I didn't know what a ship when they were like.
Didn't know what it was?
No. So like I showed up and they were very hush hush about like, you know, who I was and what I was doing, and then they started hinting at maybe a possible romance, and then there were some articles about it, and then they're like, you know, and you know what your ship name is, and I was like, what's that? Like, I had no idea.
I don't have a boat.
Yeah.
Like, what?
You're like, huh? I don't get it. Wait, so did they say Levon was the ship name? Did they, or they were asking you, did you put it together yet?
Yeah, they were asking me if I had put it together yet, and but I mean, they're aware. Every little thing that fans pick up on, it's there for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's part of the fun of you know, the show and the ship names and all the little brains and all that kind of stuff. There's so many throwbacks to other stuff. Like every time I have a question, they're like, "Oh, well, this is part of this show, and this reminds us of this other thing." And you're like, "Oh man, you guys think about stuff." You know?
The writers are on it.
Tying this together. Speaking of ships, really quick, let's just talk about you and Liv for a second, and how we finally got that first moment with the hand-in-hand touch that is really exciting. And I think that's kind of what draws all to kind of have this really heartwarming feel at the end of this episode. Yeah. And it was kind of what we needed, and the heartwarming feel that we needed, because we did lose Mama Leone, which we were very depressed and sad about. We were so shocked that
Still
happened.
sad.
Yeah, no, it was, you know, I never got to really work with her except for the very end, but it was, you know, I got the breakdown of everything, and it was an intense moment, you know what I mean? It was like, that anvil drop thing was no joke. Like when we were doing it, I was afraid for her in general. I was like, is that secured? Because they tested on a watermelon, and this thing, like, destroys it. So like she's putting her head under.
Wait, in real life?
Yeah. I mean, they have a rubber substitute, and there's safety wires and all that stuff, but you know, you're like, yeah, it's intense.
It's scary.
Yeah. It's a wheel. It's a working anvil.
Oh my gosh.
Smasher. Yeah.
That is.
She's like, "Where's
so
my
shocking."
insurance? Make sure everything's fine."
Literally. Oh my gosh, that is very scary. I did not know that. But going back to ships and everything, you had mentioned, do we know about Peyton and Robbie? Because that is a huge deal this episode.
It's a big
how
ship.
Peyton and Robbie are basically back together. Do we have a ship name for them? I was looking it up on Twitter and I couldn't find it. I don't know if...
I was trying to figure it out, and I came up with Pavi, but I still think that sounds like a dog disease, so I don't want to go with it.
Wait, is it... Wait, I think
it's Parvo.
Oh, that's what it is.
I googled it.
Okay.
It's Parvo, but too close. But I don't know.
Too close. Yeah. I don't know. Guys in the chat, let us know.
Yeah.
I was looking it up on Twitter and I couldn't seem to find it.
Rate them?
But then that's all of Peyton's name and just an R of Ravi.
Does it have to be like this perfect thing? Like, because Raven sounds cool, but then it's not enough Ravi, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like this weird mix of it.
So we got Connor in the chat. Ivan says Rayton. Matt Fernandez says Pavi.
Well, I guess you can change the E to an A, and then it looks more like Ravi, and it's Rayton.
Pevi.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll get to that later. But you kind of made me, it sparked my thought process because I was thinking, wow, we've loved Ravi and Peyton together, and I've been shipping it, but I haven't had a name for it.
Because now all I think about is ship
Yeah,
names. You know? This is my life. I'm like, I just meet
together?
couples in real life. I'm like, what's your ship name?
That's so true. No, we actually don't in real life ship real. Like, I don't think any of my
I'm gonna
friends.
start doing that.
Yeah.
They're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, they're like, that's a little uncomfortable. That makes me feel too close. But kind of jumping back to what Nakia said about you doing a lot of the zombie type-esque, is this just a coincidence because you've been in Twilight, Teen Wolf, like iZombie, The Walking Dead, or do you like the genre and you kind of pull towards those scripts?
I think it's coincidence. Yeah, I mean, I do like, you know, zombie stuff. Like we spoke about earlier, I write stuff when we're writing a script like that's a zombie kind of Home Alone meets like the Goonies, throwback to the 80s, with like that kind of thing. And so it's a fun genre. I think there's a sense of the zombie, at least, you know, you can have this action stuff and then you're not feeling bad for these people that you're taking out. And so that makes a lot of storytelling easy.
That's true.
But yeah, total coincidence. It wasn't like I'm chasing down these things, you know.
I thought you just like scary things and you were here. You had like a side job of killing people.
Yeah.
You liked all these shows.
You're secretly actually part zombie, you know? That would make more sense.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I have a question. I don't really know too much about, I mean, I understand like with acting, you know, you try out for the role, but for the roles that you did try out for, did you necessarily go for that for Leone, or were you given that role?
Yeah, I went for Leone, and no, that was on set, but it was like, is it
Leone?
Leone. It's Leone, like the song, but I went for Leone, but it happens. I've done read for other shows like Walking Dead. When I first auditioned, it wasn't for the role I got; it was for another one, and then they're like, "Oh, we like you, but we think this is a little this," and then so that does happen. But you typically are like getting what you're going for, unless it's super secret. Then they'll just make up some name or scene for you to kind of get in there.
Yeah. Oh, so fun. Well, what was it like on set? Being in Vancouver, you guys were shooting. You actually mentioned that there was a scene when when Liv is scratching the humans, turning them into zombies, that it was pouring down rain?
Yeah. Vancouver rains, like it's always raining, but usually light enough that you won't see it on camera or you can deal with it. But every now and then you'll get these like pour downs, and I think it was that morning, and we had to shift some stuff around, and we're all in tents waiting for this rain, because then you can't even do anything because the sound is so loud if you're outside. And it was like we were in a studio all week, and then the one day we go out, it's pouring rain. And so I think we made it work, but I think we might have shifted some stuff to under a canopy, and then we made it closer to the truck. But you know, it was freezing, and that was when Rose had like this mini skirt, and so she was freezing. We're all like in these big jackets, and she's just standing out in there in this like tiny skirt,
leopard skirt.
Exactly.
Not only are you an actor, you're an actor, director, writer, producer.
Wow.
Do you have any interest of maybe writing or directing one of the like upcoming iZombie episodes?
I mean, that would be fun. Like it's one of those things that, it's just chasing down a path. Like everything is in this industry it's like a lot of hard work and dedication. And I know Malcolm's kind of going down that path. He was what they call shadow directing on one of the episodes, and it's just I'm writing right now, and I directed that film, and so one of the scripts we're writing is for me to direct, and so that's the path I'm taking right now. But if it comes up and somebody was like, hey, would you be interested, like I would do it. I just don't know how much energy I can do to chase it down right now.
Right, because you have other things in the pipeline
right
now.
Exactly. It's always, it's what you can put your attention to, you know what I mean? But give credit to all those directors, because it's hard to get into, and it's just getting in the flow of directing for TV is very different than film. And so to take a skill that's hard and then put a whole new spin on it is crazy.
Totally. And do you have a preference to do maybe acting or something towards film or television? Do you have a preference?
In the acting side? Yeah, I think film, but the film has changed. Like my whole career started on indie film. Like I was doing some bad movies, but I loved it, like, because it was taking on a new role every time, and then you can step away and you dive in a new one. And TV is very different. Like, you're one person going through all these different scenarios as opposed to one person going through one scenario. You know, my wife's an actress too. She's huge. She prefers TV, and I just like the idea of shifting around. But TV's changed so much to movies, so that's when I started shifting into TV, and the writing's changed, and the shows are so different, and so now you get the bit of both worlds in TV shows when you never used to have that. You know,
That's true.
It's so different. Like Walking Dead specifically, it was like my first TV show, and I think it blended well because it's so much like a movie. I mean, they're much more character driven. But yeah, so movies ideally, but like, I mean, I love everything I've worked on, and I would never trade it, you know?
Of course. And I think just with iZombie too, because we used to talk about how the first 2 seasons were really much almost their own storyline, their own full circle story, and then it kind of dived in more into the zombie-esque with human world. So I think that iZombie is even a perfect example of that, to really how it can kind of combine and come together.
Yeah.
But obviously, we don't want to let the fans be sad that we're not going to totally talk about this episode. So let's just talk about how I was really frustrated that Dale was mad. She was mad at Clive. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah.
When he was talking about the date and everything, she was totally bitter that he was considering her.
Which is annoying because we just saw her making out with some weirdo in the club.
Right.
And then it's like, get over it.
Get over yourself.
What was annoying for me is the fact that Clive didn't have to say that he knows that, like, the protocol, like when you're dating somebody that you work with. I feel like that he didn't have, because I know Dale like gave him that look,
right?
Because I had looked down for a second, like, why did he raise his hand? But she had her hand already up, and then she looked at him like, raise your hand. I was like, I wouldn't have raised my hand.
She was claiming her man.
She was.
She was claiming, and I think like Dale has to understand, like, you guys are in this open relationship, but you're a zombie, he's a human. So it's not fair for you to hook up with other zombies, but poor human Clive has to sit and wait to be turned into a zombie. I don't know.
Clive's like the nicest, like, you know, I think Clive he's like this totally straight arrow, nice guy. I think that's like so many other people, if it was in there, like Ravi probably wouldn't have raised his hand.
No.
You know? He would have just looked around whistling or something. You know what I mean?
He'd been like, ooh, not me.
Yeah. Why the hot sauce?
I love it. But yeah, I was a little upset, but I can save this for predictions. I'll save it.
I was also curious too. Do we know why now? Why is she interested in him now? Because I felt like even when like Liv was being weird and like
trying to push them on each other,
and then all of a sudden it was like so random for me. So I'm like, wait, did I miss something?
Because you know, like how say you're attracted to a guy or a girl, but you don't know if they're feeling the same vibe. But for like the past week, his or her friend is kind of like, hey, you should talk to my friend. So that kind of gives you confirmation. Mm-hmm. I'm just putting myself in this situation. I don't know. Maybe she's like,
you would handle it.
I wouldn't handle it. I would wait. I'm like, oh, he does like me. 2 weeks later, then I'm like, so do you want to come over?
Like, what?
What
are we doing?
Like, you want to come and watch a movie?
Because your crazy friend downstairs she keeps hinting. So you must like me. I don't know. I'm just putting myself in there.
Yeah. That's true, but I was a little annoyed with Dale because Clive really is a good guy and he deserves the best, and he keeps getting the crap end of the stick.
He does.
It's not fair.
We love Clive.
It's not fair.
Hashtag Clive.
Hashtag Clive. Yeah, he deserves love, but Liv deserves love too, and she does. And it's just legitimately thought this episode was hilarious. Her theater vibes behind her. I almost for a second was getting confused and thrown off when she was doing the documentary stuff because you thought she was really into it, and then all of a sudden she'd be like, "Okay, scene."
Yeah.
Can we get a wide shot? Is that cool?
Yeah. No, she was so funny on this braid. I mean, it was like, you know, my second episode, so I hadn't experienced like all this stuff. The Goon Brain, it wasn't really as much into my storyline, so I was focused on my stuff. And then this is the first time I got to see this like big kind of brain that she's on, and I was just cracking up. I'm like, you have the best job in the world.
Yes.
You get to do this every episode. She's like, I know, I'm so lucky.
But even with your character, what I love though, because she would be crazy, and the other members in the crew would be like, what is wrong with her? But I feel like your character would be like, oh, she's just she's here.
I mean, and I thought about that for a while into it, because I was like, all right, well, I'm a zombie, and I say, like, in the first episode, I'm like, I know what whole brain is like, so I'm not judging her. And then, of course, if there's something brewing, which I'm not saying there is, like, there's gotta be things that I find endearing, and so it's like, I might think that some people maybe hesitate in going full brain, and she just embraces it, and so I'm like, oh, that's cute, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of vibe.
Because I like the looks you were giving her. Sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Is a lot of it just straight script, or is some of that her like improving a little bit?
Man, I give credit to the writers. It's almost all script, and they write it, but like they now know, you know, Rose so well, and everybody. So, you know, there's moments where they'll improvise, but it's not something that nobody feels the need to, because it's all the jokes are just hit like hard, you know. Yeah.
Totally.
She's hilarious. Because she's from New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, so when she put on her real accent, I'm like, this girl can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Because not only is she putting on her real accent, then she has to do the brain that she was on and be like the actress, the theater actress. So I'm like, Rose, she deserves an Emmy.
There's so
I think
many
someone in the
levels
chat said
to it.
Totally.
So true.
do the American accent with her New Zealand accent. I thought that was great.
That was the bad, the bad American accent.
All the R's.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, too good. Well, this was during the mission that you guys were doing, and I wanted to know what's the behind the scenes of that. Were the the guns that you guys were holding, are those real heavy duty things, or?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think there's a, you know, where I hit one of the guards. That's like rubber, but other than that, I mean, they're like guns. You know what I mean? Like they have lighter ones and they have heavier ones and stuff depending for the shot. But that was fun, man. Like that was a really coming into this, and this is like, you know, I'm like, oh, you know, a comedy show and all this stuff, and then I'm like, oh, I get to do some action stuff. You know what I mean? So it was really, it was a long night. It was super cold that night, but it was doing, you know, the action side of it made it so much better, and like hanging under a truck and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's so fun. Did they make you train or anything, or give you any classes before you, or did you kind of go in? You're like, I got
you kind of get. I mean, I've done gun stuff before in other movies, and probably if I was doing full on shooting or something like that, they might have. But this was
very
like
quick.
Yeah. I mean, it's just walking and looking like I know what I'm doing. When I'm, you know.
Walking and looking like you know what you're doing. That's kind of like Blaine walked into that restaurant and saw his dad and everything.
Best scene ever.
Did I call that on this episode?
Yes, I think everybody was waiting for it.
Yeah, I think you did predict it last week. Drew's been waiting for this.
I love Angus. There are a few things that I love more than Angus, and my mom being one of them. Hi, Mom. But I was waiting for this. This was all I wanted. I want more scenes with Blaine and Angus.
It was an awesome scene because at the beginning he thinks his dad is down in this well and he's talking all this ish and he's boasting, and then he gets that phone call. He's like, all right, whatever, I'll handle it. So to see his reaction when his father and his father's cult, and that's why I love Don E's reaction, because he's like, this isn't creepy at all. Like there's a cult standing behind Angus, but we've been waiting for this moment. I thought of you guys because I'm like, I know Drew has definitely been waiting for Angus to pop up. And
yes,
she's like, I've
been waiting too. I feel like that Angus definitely punked him, because I thought Blaine was gonna. I didn't think he was gonna back down because you know he's such a badass, but no, he did. He was like, give him the, what did he say? Give him like the leftovers, or give him the cheap stuff. That's what he said.
Because I think as badass as Blaine is, he's still afraid of his father. Yeah. And that's why I don't think he would ever really kill his father, because one, that's his dad, and as abusive and as much as he hates him, I think he still kind of looks up to his father, and I think he still wants that approval.
Hashtag daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
They'll get you.
I'm just saying. So it was a good, like when you the look in his eyes when he seen his father was like, I'm like, he turned into like a little boy for me. And it's like dad was in control and he wasn't in control anymore.
Yeah.
I was going deep, y'all.
Well, we were talking about it before, and I was thinking he's had so many opportunities to just kill his dad. He stuck him in the freezer. He cemented him down a well. And Drew made a good point. She was like, well, I think he's just trying to torture him because he doesn't want him to actually die. Because then that's his dad.
That's too easy.
Yeah.
Then it's just done.
And he doesn't have a mom, so.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I think no matter how bad a relationship, deep down, you're like, this could work out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
maybe we can throw balls together. I don't know.
That actually is a question. Do you guys think that Blaine and Angus are going to be able to make amends and kind of team up together?
I honestly thought, because like he kept quoting all the things Blaine said, that I thought he was going to somehow compare Blaine to God, and like Blaine was going to be like this newfound God or whatever, but doesn't look like how it's gonna go, so I don't know.
I will say we have some people in the chat room, and a lot of people feel bad for Blaine in this moment. People who hated Blaine, they're like, we felt bad for Blaine, and it was really sad. Oh, tears for Blaine.
Well, yeah, because he thought he was gone, and now he's back, and every time he comes back with this vengeance, his dad always does come out on top, and he figures out a way to make things happen, even if he's been gone for like, I don't know, months, years. How long was he in the freezer? Like 2 years? I don't know.
Daddy
Something
issues for
long.
real.
Yeah.
He was there for a long while. But yeah, well, I'm glad we got that reunion for you, Drew. I know you wanted it a lot.
I did. Thank
Now
you.
we just need a war between them, and then that's gonna be fun if that ever happens.
Yeah, I can't wait for
Daddy
that.
son war, and then at the end they all hug it out.
Yeah, and they go to therapy, and it's like,
And then it's fine.
It's like a really
One
beautiful
happy family.
moment.
Yeah, that's something that we like. Obviously, we know you can't talk about what goes on next, but something that we've kind of been questioning is when is this kind of war going to break out? Because obviously, there's so many people in different directions right now with Fillmore Graves. They're kind of doing their own thing, and then we've got the zombies, and then we've got the humans, and then the humans that want to turn into zombies. So we've all been wondering when is this all going to come clash and like crashing down?
Yeah, I mean, a lot happens this season. Like it's not just a gimmick of trying to say, oh, let's put a wall up and
Right.
then continue the show. They actually address it, and there's real world like issues of like, you know, if this really happened, what are the next steps and all that kind of stuff. And so that I really, really, you know, credit the writers that they weren't just saying, let's change some storyline stuff for ratings. They were like, no, let's talk about a real issue, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's why we love iZombie.
Yeah, for sure.
And you guys are done filming this season, yeah?
Mhm.
Okay. Cool. Oh my gosh, guys, this has been so much fun. I can't even believe we only have like 15 minutes left. We gotta get everything else in.
Snap.
Also, let's get into our little brain food segment of the day. It was cinnamon rolls. And this is our fun little...
We have.
little
I love
We
it.
have this.
It says yummy, right? So tasty.
Yes.
So it was cinnamon rolls, and Daniel was telling us that they actually make the food on set.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speak for every single episode ever,
Right.
but as far as I know, they do. When they did the poutine fries, which is the Canada thing, they actually did it, and everybody's like, I hadn't had poutine, and like, you got to try it, but wait, because they're making it for the show, and they make this stuff really good. And I was like, oh, they really make it? And like, yeah. And so they made a bunch of poutine fries like while they were shooting it. So
That's
they make the
amazing.
stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
That is amazing. Drew, did you want to say something?
No, I'm still trying to figure out what the brain is because I know we were talking about that earlier, and I just want to know what the brains are actually made of. It's really bothering me.
Well, I've read it for one of the news and gossip segment. They said that it was gelatin, and I think it's edible. I have to go back to I think I did this news and gossip like 2-3 weeks ago, so I know that part. I think the big brain is gelatin, but the little tiny ones I don't know.
Or even
what
they
it
could be
is.
Jello molds. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
I'm really interested because it still grosses me out every time she takes a bite. But the face
I think
she
it looks
always
good.
does,
Yeah.
she's always so satisfied, and she's just like,
Not best roll yet.
yeah.
I don't know. It's so realistic. She makes you want to eat a brain. If that doesn't sound creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather than
That does
Robbie.
sound creepy. I don't think you say that without be like, but not in the brain eating way.
Yeah, you're trying to eat a brain.
It's whatever.
Not in the brain
Sorry,
eating
guys.
way.
Being creepy
Well, Robbie,
today.
no matter any time he eats a brain, it's never in a
It's
cooked way.
so savage. I hate it.
So savage. Him and Blaine, they're the two zombies that you honestly always see just eating it raw brain.
Raw brain. Is that like sushi?
Ah.
Have they done a sushi brain like a wrap?
That would be
think
cool.
Oh yeah,
They
they
did?
did. Yeah,
I
they
think
did
they
sushi
did.
roll.
Yeah.
They did.
I'm like, that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, it would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're always just eating raw brain, and it's
With hot
disgusting.
sauce.
Yeah.
No, our girl lives. She creates it. She lives it up.
does.
Yeah.
She makes it delicious looking. Not that I'm saying I'm
Yes.
eating brains, y'all.
Yeah.
No. But even the chocolate, she made these chocolate heart brains.
Oh, that was cute.
Those were cute, and they actually looked yummy.
Yeah.
But you know, like obviously they just look like they got like almonds in the middle,
Yeah.
and it's brains. Gross. Wait, question for you. When we talked about brains a couple weeks ago, we were saying if you could be a brain, and take over this persona, what would
Oh
you be?
man, I don't know. I'd be like a Christopher Walken brain or something. His brains, man, it's so good. It's good for you. Good for you. They should. I mean, more like celebrity in person brains. You know what I mean? Like,
So good.
yeah. Ravi, I think I got a case that I gotta figure out.
Oh my god, too good. Yeah, that'd be fun. Because then you're like because you actually take on this persona.
A full-on mannerisms. And
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
And then
totally.
you just like that's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, good to know. Now we know what Daniel
Yeah,
we
that's
know.
great. Yeah.
I think that wins.
Too funny. Well, yeah, with brains being food and moving on, let's get into some fun news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Ooh,
Alrighty.
I feel like I've never heard that part before.
Nakia, you take it away, and then after that, I have a specific this or that zombie version for you, Daniel.
Cool beans. So for my little zombies that's listening. So as we know, iZombie's in season 4, and a lot of us want season 5 to come back. But there's a new hashtag that's going around on Twitter. Hashtag renew iZombie, because the CW is playing games and they're not saying if iZombie's coming back. So our girl Rose, who plays Liv, she tweeted this out. Big, huge, loving things to all the fans asking for season 5 renewal. So touching. We hope to get it too. This season is my favorite yet, and each episode gets better and better. I love our cast, crew, and fandom. So please keep watching live, and thanks again. Hashtag renew iZombie. So to all the fans that's in the chat, all the fans that's on Twitter, all the fans that's listening to the podcast, make sure you guys tweet hashtag renew iZombie, because we need a season 5.
Yeah,
They have
let's get it
to.
trending. It has to.
They have to renew it.
I never want it to end.
You
It's
better.
good. It's
If
so
this
good.
ends on top of New Girl, on top of Once Upon a Time, I will go and do, like, I don't think I can emotionally
for-
handle that. Please help me out, okay?
Do it
guys?
for
Renew.
Ally.
Hashtag renew iZombie, okay? Everybody get it trending. We need your help.
And they're honestly like the best people to work with, and so if anybody deserves like to keep going and doing what they're doing, it's
Right.
this group of people, from the writers down to everybody. It's such an opening, like a warm, welcoming kind of group.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell you guys have a lot of fun. So we
Yeah.
want
Yeah.
season 5 to come back. So hashtag renew iZombie. Congratulations in order to Ravi, aka Raul, who plays Ravi. He has a new movie that just premiered on Netflix called
yeah.
Happy Anniversary. So make sure you guys Netflix and chill and check that out. And favorite 2000 group, Ally and AJ. Our girl Peyton, her and her sister, they're actually going on tour.
Yes!
Oh my
Nice.
gosh.
Yes, the Promises tour. So make sure you guys get some tickets. Sale is on Friday for some tickets, and I'm here for Ally and AJ.
I know.
Yeah. Drew has 2 fists
I
up.
need you to understand how much I loved Ally and AJ when I was like in middle school, and now
Cowbells?
as a
Yeah, I
full
think we all
adult.
did.
Cowbells, potential breakup song. I broke up with all my
Potential
little
breakup
middle
song
school
is
boyfriends
everything.
Also,
over that.
I'm still dying over the fact that they never ended Phil with the Future with them together, and it's still on my mind. Ali Mashaka obviously played the love
We
interest.
want closure.
We need closure.
We
Disney
need it.
Channel. Oh my gosh, so much fun. And Ally and AJ have obviously grown up, and there's so many things they're doing great in their life. But Drew, what's also something that's fun and helps you grow and is very inspiring?
I'm glad you asked. Do you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life? You just said that. That's fine. For those who do, we've got a podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos podcast edition is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes, which is in 2 days, so get ready. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life. From health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more, let our Maria be the big sister you've never had. Just go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free.
Guys,
If it's free, it's for me. Sorry,
Big
I was
facts.
late, Drew.
I was waiting on you. Be sure to rate and comment. And when you do, let Maria know it was us, the iZombie panel, who sent you there. Make us look good in front of our boss, guys. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out.
it's so amazing. She
Wow.
interviews so many influential people.
Weren't you just on it?
Yeah, yeah, you're on it.
If you ever watched Once Upon a Time, I got to guest co-host with Maria, and she interviewed Jennifer Morrison, who plays Emma Swan, and she just made her directorial debut on Netflix for Sundogs. And it was such a great, inspiring, just listening to her and, you know, her steps to her career and how she got to be where she is today. You should definitely listen to it. And obviously Maria is so much fun. In the beginning, she talks about fun news, opens it up with the song. You can listen to it when in your car, during traffic. It's like you got your best friends with you. So please go download her podcast. It's amazing. You don't want to miss it.
And it's free.
And it's free. Guys. Come on,
We
we're
love
all
free.
about the free stuff. But Daniel, back to you. We've got some fun this or that zombie version.
Okay.
Alrighty. This is a big one.
Yeah.
Zombies or vampires?
I mean, I gotta go zombies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you be what kind of zombie would you be? Walking Dead zombie, or would you be iZombie zombie?
Oh, iZombie.
Yeah.
Walking Dead zombie, you're done. iZombie, you're living like a normal life. You just get to be different
They're
characters.
very aggressive.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is a tough one for you.
Okay.
Liv or Peyton?
Liv or Peyton? Ooh, no.
Robbie.
Even
I know.
outside of your character, you know, outside looking at them as characters, who would you choose?
I'd say Liv, only because you know, Peyton's like Liv is the fun kind of, like, she's got like quirky, and you know, why not? You know what I mean? Have fun. Like if you're gonna date somebody that's like different personalities every week.
Hashtag live on.
Yeah.
Okay, brains or brain tubes? Because obviously the brains give you the visions, and the brain tubes are more subtle.
Man, during the week brain tubes, weekends brains.
I like it.
Good answer. I love it. Okay, liquor or beer?
I'm a whiskey guy.
Whiskey.
Whiskey guy.
Same.
All the way.
Whiskey, cognac.
She was like, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Whiskey is, honestly, I've learned, I don't know, like when you go from vodka to whiskey, you're like, what have I been doing my whole life?
Best thing
Yeah.
ever. You can get up and function the next day.
Well, it's also you're going for like, I'm like, I like this whiskey because of this taste. It's like, try this vodka. It tastes more like nothing.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like there's no flavor in vodka. Like that's the goal. You know.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. Okay. Whew. Call or text?
I'm a caller.
Caller.
I do. I mean, I'm definitely texting more, but like after like 3 or 4,
Right.
especially guys, then like 2 back, I'm like, dude, what? You know what I mean? Like,
And you want to get the point across.
yeah.
It's the worst when you have like one-word answers and you are trying to get something out of someone because you're busy, and then you just think, okay, I'm gonna wait until I can actually call this person, and then you talk and it's done in like a minute.
Yeah.
And it's so
and I'm
much better.
super sarcastic, and so on a text, they're like, "Damn's an asshole." You know what I mean? Like,
They're like, I don't get it. You're like, let me just call.
yeah. It's like, oh, no, I see what I did. You think I'm a
I read a meme and it was something about when you're texting someone new and they don't understand your sarcasm and they think you're constantly fighting. And it was hilarious. Okay, last one. Team Blaine or Team Ravi for Peyton?
Dun, dun, dun. Choose wisely.
I know. I'm gonna say Team Ravi.
Yes, I'm Team Ravi all the way.
Only because I feel like Blaine probably kills it. You know? And he's good. He's like Ravi. Like he finds the girl that he's good with, and it's you know.
Yeah, Drew, you're Team Blaine, right?
I am
Didn't he?
too.
I'm
Yeah.
Team Blaine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth. I'm fake. I like Ravi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is for Peyton, like getting together with Peyton, like that kind of thing.
We
I like Ravi for like.
Because otherwise, Ravi, I hate Ravi. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, if
I like
Raul's
Ravi for
listening,
like relationship, but I like Blaine for fun. Like I think he's to have fun with.
Yeah.
But I like Ravi for her to.
I'm
settle
here,
down.
team polyamorous relationship.
Yes.
Like, they're just
Date them
all
all.
together.
That's true. But it was only because that eye contact we had at that dinner with that weird person that we haven't seen again with Peyton, where we were like thinking that Blaine can be back in the picture. Alrighty. Well, guys, we want to give you a huge shout out and thanks for listening and tweeting and commenting every week. So, Shawnteairra, why don't you take away the fan shout out this week?
All right, so the fan shout out this week is, I'm sorry if I butcher your last name, I apologize ahead of time, Sam Peboon. Thank you. I said that right? Okay, good.
I think it is, yeah.
Okay, hope so. But thank you so much for tweeting at us. We do see your tweets, and make sure you guys continue to tweet us. And who knows, next week you can be shouted out.
Yes.
By yours truly.
Yes, by
Yes.
yours truly. Artie, really quick, let's do some like flash lightning round predictions.
Okay.
And then we don't run out of time.
Your
This is too fun.
AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Shawnteairra.
All right, really quick. I believe that Liv is going to end up helping as many people as she can instead of just 3. And then I think that Angus has a plan, but he's going to play nice to get in good with Blaine, and then going to end up taking over. Yeah.
Drew.
You know what? This is completely off the wall, but I'm gonna go with it. I think because Leone, he looked good in the uniform, you know, and I think it would be interesting if he became a soldier to have like an inside, you know,
That's
That's a
good.
good
game,
That's a good
recognized
one, Drew.
game.
I co-sign
and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just excited for more Angus and Blaine.
Amazing. Nakia.
I'm with Drew. I'm here to see Angus and Blaine, and I think there's going to be a war. But I think, as you know, children do, they love their parents, and I think Blaine is going to be the person to surrender to his dad. I don't know, something weird. It's going to be like a weird "I love you, daddy" moment.
Right.
And I'm just here to see more hashtag live on. So I think they're going to get closer.
I'm so ready for Leone, and obviously I think that that's what's going to help her. They're going to figure out a way around this whole scratching human thing, and she's not going to go to jail, and she's not going to get her head cut off because obviously then we wouldn't have iZombie.
Right.
So what I think is they're going to work together in figuring out how to go around this to save the people on the list. But we ran out of time, guys. I can't even believe it. It's been so much fun. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's so much fun.
We are loving. I always want to say so. It's leave on, like leave on.
Leave
like
on.
that,
Leave
like that
on.
song. Leave on.
Yeah.
Me,
I want to say like love on because I'm
Live
from
on.
the East Coast. And
Right.
Oh, so much fun every week, guys. Thank you so much for joining us as always, especially in the chat. And Ivan, I want to give you a special shout out. I will open the chat tomorrow in Siren. Already, Shawnteairra, where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on social media at Shawnteairra.
Drew Jones.
And you guys can find me on all the things at OK Drew J, and later on tonight with Kiki Boom Boom on Famous in Love.
Nakia.
You guys can follow me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom, and you can call me Kiki Boom Boom if you like.
Daniel, where can they find you on all social media?
Daniel Bonjour. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Kiki Boom Boom sounds good though. I'm gonna change
You
it.
can have that. You can
DD
just
Boom
say-
Boom.
Yes.
Hey guys, don't forget to follow AfterBuzz TV on all social media platforms. And if you're interested in a fun sci-fi mermaid version, please tune into Freeform's after show on Siren tomorrow at 9 p.m. And again, we will have the live chat. Again, Ally Nasta here. Find me on Twitter at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at LAGirl. See you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.